Hey everybody, welcome back to the Buffalo History Museum's Resource Center located right here in Buffalo at 459 Forest Ave for another episode of The Extra Point. That's right, it's our new web series where we take a look at some of the highest points in Bills history and we show you some accompanying artifacts to better tell those stories. For our story today, we're going to be heading back pretty far, all the way back to 1965 to talk about the AFL All-Star Game boycott. Many Bills players were invited to this game, including Cookie Gilchrist and Jack Kemp, and the game was slated to be played in New Orleans, Louisiana. Now remember, this is just about 6 months after the Civil Rights Act had passed, and unfortunately for many of the players there, that new set of laws didn't mean that black players are going to be treated fairly, right? Many of the players there were refused service in cabs, refused entry into restaurants and hotels. Well, to combat this, 21 African American players from all different teams met at the Roosevelt Hotel in downtown New Orleans and drafted a note, which was written up by the Bills' own Ernie Warlick, stating some of the problems that they had with the conditions they were experiencing in New Orleans. And the letter written by Warlick reads as such. First of all, I wish to make it clear that we are not members of any movement or civil rights group. We are merely members of the American Football League, a league that we feel is progressive, healthy, and producing exciting football. The Negro players selected to the All-Star Game feel they are playing a vital role in the league's progression and have been treated fairly in all cities throughout the league. However, because of adverse conditions and discriminatory practices such as 1. Insults from other patrons while dining in hotels, 2. Refused taxi service from cabs parked outside the hotels and in other parts of the city, 3. Refused service from clubs, all of which were experienced by various members of these all-star teams while in New Orleans. We felt that we could not be subjected to the type of treatment and perform at 100%. We wish to point out that the treatment within the confines of the hotels from their staff was superb. Also, we are well aware of the fact that these insults and malpractice are not representative of all of the people of New Orleans. However, as a unit, we felt we could not perform 100% under these conditions and therefore decided to withdraw from the All-Star Game. Now again, this movement to combat some of the racist conditions in New Orleans at the time, it was led by some of the biggest names in Bills history, players like Cookie Gilchrist and Jack Kemp, and it was due to their efforts that the game was actually rescheduled and moved to Houston, Texas. Attendance at the game wasn't as high as they had hoped, but it became the first pro football game to be televised nationally on ABC. Today, most people can't remember the score or who even won the game, but the brave statement made by these men will never be forgotten.